So as you know, or for those of you who are just joining, right, I've been doing a three session Facebook Live series. This all came about when there was an article that got passed around about the coaching industry specifically, but some service-based industries that are internet-based and how they're crumbling, right? And how they're crumbling because people are doing everything but building relationships. At the end of the day, they're doing every single thing but building relationships. And when I looked into it and I started thinking about it, I thought, you know, that's true, but it's not just relationships with other people, right? That we have to really look at some core relationships. And the first core relationship that we talked about in the first video was the relationship that we have with ourselves, right? Because if our relationship with us isn't solid, nobody's relationship with us will be solid, right? So we talked about that. That's in video 1. You can find that in the group. And if you can't, just let me know. And then the second session was about our relationship with time and money. Because if we don't have a solid understanding of the way that we should be thinking about and talking about and interacting with time and money, we are setting our business up for failure from the beginning, before we ever do anything. So it's really important that we come at those relationships from a solid place. Today's the big one, all right? Hi, Rebecca. Yes, community. Today is the big one. Today is community versus audience, community building versus audience building, because the final relationship that we need to evaluate in business is the relationship that we have with whatever you call it, your tribe, your followers, your people, your persons, your audience, there are a million words, right, for what this is. But at the end of the day, it's the relationship that we have with other people, whether they're our customer, a prospective customer, a client, a prospective client, a referral partner. No one that's going to be any of those things, just a person that we meet out in the world, right? Our relationships with other people are the third and final kind of crucial component of relationship building that will lift our business up to success, right? So Cordelia says she calls it her sister. So the question I want to start this with and ask you guys is, what is your definition of a community? I want you guys to type it in. What's your definition of community? I do these exercises so I can drink my coffee. What is your definition of community? What do you call it? Like Cordelia says, her sisters. What is it that you think community is? Now I'm going to go into, I have to turn down my phone. I'm going to go into my phone just in case Facebook has already decided, right, to hide your comments. People with a like mind. So Lisa says community are people with a like mind. Cordelia says a safe zone to share with vulnerability. I like that part. Unbridled vulnerability. A group of people who enjoy each other and support each other. Okay, people who support one another. People who share the same mindset. These are good. These are good, right? So I'm going to give you the actual technical definition of community, okay? Because I think that there's some missing pieces, missing components. A set of people who know each other and care for each other. Great. Yeah, definitely important, right? But the real definition of community, and I have a lot of notes today, guys. Again, when it's a big topic, like I could talk about this without notes, but I have so much that I want to make sure I get in to today. The definition of community is a group of people that have a common agenda or a cause. Okay, so they have a common agenda, a cause, or a goal that they're working towards, and they collaborate with each other by sharing ideas, information, and resources. Okay, that's the definition of community. If somebody can even type that into the box, that would be great, right? If I start typing, the computer is going to start shaking and it's not going to be that great of a video because already it feels really choppy. I don't know why. But a community, to have a community, it's a group of people A group of people with a common agenda, a common goal, or a common cause who collaborate with each other by sharing ideas, resources, information, right? So they have a common, again, I'm going to, right? Repetition. Repetition is the mother of all learning, right? So a community, again, is a group of people that are coming together with a common goal, a common agenda, maybe a common situation in life, right? But they are collaborating with each other and sharing resources, information, and ideas. Okay, that is the definition of a community. Oh, it's okay. It's okay, Yamora. You haven't. So thank you guys for typing that in, right? A community is a group of people with a common agenda, cause, goal, situation in life, and they collaborate with each other by sharing ideas, resources, and information. That is the actual technical definition of community, okay? So it's not just a bunch of people that like the same thing. It's not just a bunch of people that feel the same way. It's not just a group of people that are at the same stage in their life, right? That's a piece of the puzzle, but that's not the entire puzzle for community, okay? To have a community, you need all of those things, right? So yes, so hi Paige, I'm so glad you're here. Paige says this does not mean everyone agrees, but rather they have a goal, agenda, or cause that's similar, and they share it. Women's Business Garden is definitely a community. You guys are an amazing, strong community, right? You are all working towards a common goal in your life, it might not be the exact same goal, but you're all working to build a business, entrepreneurship, growth in your business, right? That's why you're here. But you have all different ways of thinking about it, all different viewpoints on it, different opinions. And that's wonderful. You don't all have to have the same mindset of how you go about that and what that looks like and what that feels like. And the big key is the collaboration part, sharing the resources, sharing the information, sharing, right? All of the knowledge and sharing ideas. That's a community, okay? Why is that important? Why am I talking about community to a bunch of business owners? Why do you guys think that that is important to you as a business owner? I would love to know. And then I'm going to lay some facts on you. Today is going to be fact heavy, definition heavy, but it's still going to be really good. I promise. It's going to be a good day. Promise. But why do you guys think that that's important? Right? Type it in. Just type some things in. Why do you think that understanding community, and I'm going to talk about audience building in a minute, but why do you think that understanding this full, completely rounded out definition of community is important to you as a business owner? Does anybody know? Hi, Crystal. I see that you hopped in. I'm looking to my phone just in case you guys freeze up again. People buy from those they know, like, and trust, usually in their community, right? I will say, so here's a note, you can build up know, like, and trust with people and not have a community. You can build up know, like, and trust, and I could just be talking to you and build up know, like, and trust with you, Cordelia. I could go over to Lisa and talk to her and build up know, like, and trust with her. I could hang out with Paige and build up a know, like, trust factor with Paige, right? So you're getting closer, right? But I can build know, like, and trust without having a community, right? And you're starting, so you have a support system. Okay, so you're looking at it from a different angle. You're joining a community for a support system, all right? I'm talking about how can it help elevate your business? How can you, building a community as opposed to building an audience, why is that important? And so to get to that, I want to talk, I just told you what community is, and now I want to tell you what audience is, okay? So an audience are people who follow you. It's that idea of I can build know, like, and trust with each of you without connecting you all to each other, right? I could, couldn't I? I could have a Facebook page, and I could be putting out information every day on that Facebook page to my audience, to people who like my page, right? But what a page isn't set up for is for all of you to connect to each other in a real, meaningful, and deep way, right? So the community aspect is removed, if to put it in online terms, the community aspect is removed from a Facebook page, right? That's audience. I am talking to you and you are all watching me, and maybe we're interacting. Maybe Lisa posts a comment and Cordelia posts a comment and Rachel posts a comment and Yamora and I'm talking one-on-one with you guys, and I'm interacting with you one-on-one, and I'm building know, like, trust with you. So I have an audience, right? Here's the difference, an analogy, right, for the difference. And then I'm going to get into why this is so important. Think of an audience as a show. Who's up on stage? If you guys are my audience, right? If you guys are my audience, where am I? I'm on the stage. Hello, right? Look at me, I'm on the stage, right? That's me. Woohoo! Superstar, right? For all of the people who are my age that used to watch Saturday Night Live, and it was like, superstar, right? That's an audience. I'm on the stage, and my audience, they're all in seats together, right? They're around each other, right? Watching me, but the lights are dark and there's no talking. Okay, there's no talking because the show is going on, right? And I'm the show, and I'm speaking back out at you. Maybe you can give me a review. Maybe you can talk to me. Maybe you can shout out something to me on the stage, right? But for the most part, besides a few whispers in the dark, right, I'm on the stage, and you are all in the seats, okay? That's an audience. Yeah, I did. I really did want to be a solid gold dancer, Lisa. I really did, right? Solid gold. I had a whole thing. A community is everybody up on stage with me. Everybody's on stage. It's a big improv group. There's nobody in the audience seats watching, right? We all get an equal chance to participate. We're all, or not even just equal, but we're all participating. We're all interacting. We're all up on the stage. Right? I have reached down into the audience and lifted all of you up on stage with me, right? And said, have your moment, and have your moment, and have your moment, and let's all interact. That's a community. Now everybody's under the lights. Everybody's talking. Everybody's interacting. Maybe everybody gets a spotlight, right? That's a community, right? That becomes important in your business. And I advertise this session by going, have you watched all the Facebook groups shut down? Who has seen some of the Facebook groups that they're in? Big ones, right? Big groups. How many of you have seen these groups shut down? People saying, you know what? This group has grown so large, 2,000, 4,000, 5,000, 10,000 people, but I'm really frustrated with it, and I'm really upset about it, and it's not giving me what I need. I think I saw a coach the other day come on and say, I'm not getting the clients I need. I'm not getting the customers I need. Nobody's hiring me. Nobody is really ready to invest, right? Everybody's just advertising themselves. So everyone's advertising themselves. It's not beneficial for me. I'm not getting the result that I wanted by running this group, and so I'm shutting it down. Who has seen Facebook groups shut down? So I'm looking at my phone because, as you guys may know or may not know, from each video, the comments have frozen every day. So a Nova Women's group shut down, right? I saw a couple of the big groups by coaches, right? I'm not going to name them, but a couple of them have shut down. And people are really scared, like people who relied on Facebook groups to build their business, because we know there are a lot of people who rely on Facebook groups to build their business. And people are scared. People are like, oh my gosh, will my group shut down? Or I don't have a group, and I was relying on these groups. I was going in and I was getting clients from these groups, and now they're gone. And what do I do, and why? The big question I'm getting is why, Rita? Why are all of these Facebook groups shutting down? And I tell you, hi, Donna, hi. I tell you that the reason is they were busy building an audience. They were saying they were building a community. They were saying, I'm a community builder. I love to build community. I'm building this group as a community. But what they were really doing was building an audience. They were up on stage, and they wanted all of these people watching them on stage. And they wanted everything that comes from being the star. right? They wanted everything that comes from being the star. And when they weren't the star, right? When they weren't the star, or they weren't getting the rewards, or they weren't getting the consistent rewards, or they weren't getting whatever it was that they wanted from being on the stage and having an audience, they shut down the group because they weren't really building community, right? Do you guys see that? Like, they weren't building community. They were building an audience, saying that they were building community. And it's building community that can help grow your business. It can escalate your profit. It can escalate your authority. It can escalate your credibility. It can escalate and accelerate your know, like, trust factor for a variety of reasons that we're going to go into. So people were saying community, but they were looking at it like audience building. They were on the stage and they had a huge auditorium packed watching them. But suddenly, at a certain point, people got tired of being in the audience, and the audience started talking to each other. And the audience started climbing up on stage, right? The audience started climbing up on stage. And suddenly the focus was on all of these amazing people as well, meaning not immediate tangible results for the group leader. And so while they were saying they wanted community, they really wanted an audience. And when the audience stopped being an audience, they shut down their groups. Okay, so I want you guys to see that. And I'm going to talk into why community is so important and why audience building is a valuable piece of that, but you shouldn't stop there, and you should not confuse building an audience with building a community. Okay, I don't hear enough people talking about this. In fact, I was talking to my own coach about this topic, that I was going to come on Facebook and talk about this. And she said, Rita, I've never heard this before. You need to go around shouting this from the mountaintop, because people use the word audience and community interchangeably. They're saying audience, community, and they're treating them like the same thing. And they are not the same thing. And then they act surprised. I built this big, thriving community. Why is it not working the way I wanted? Why is it not cohesive? Why is it not gelling? Why are people not talking to each other? Because they never actually built community. They only built an audience. Okay. So Donna Reeves says she inherited a Facebook group of 200 plus. The folks in the group, though, aren't part of a community. So right now is her moment to go in and build this community, which we're going to talk about at the end. Virginia, I want a community of business owners who like each other personally and get together, once a month, right? Lisa Shapiro, I love the WBG. Thank you. I'm kind of partial to Women's Business Garden too. Right? And Women's Business Garden, we get together in person and offline, right? Okay, so Donna, this is what's in my heart, renaming it. Perfect. Okay, so I've let you know, right, what the difference is between community and audience. And I've already let the cat out of the bag that the mistake that business owners are making that end up stalling their business, not growing their business, or even shutting down their business, it can actually result in disastrous results for their business, is they spent so much time building an audience and not a community, even if they thought that they were building a community. So it's really important to know the difference between an audience and between a community. And it's going to be really important to understand then, how do I build a community as opposed to just an audience, which is what we're going to talk about right now, right? Rebecca, audience versus community, right? I think the shutdowns also because folks are inundated with so many groups and it spins our heads. The number of the groups have become confusing and we're exhausted when too many groups post too many. But here's the thing, right? That's not a mistake then that the community builder is making, right? Sure, there are a million groups every day, but I'm not going to shut down Women's Business Garden because of it, because I'm not out in a million different groups trying to jump around. I know where my community is and I'm going to put my time and energy and attention into it. And I've got one or two other groups that jive with my definition of community as well, right? And because I'm doing that, I feel really confident. So I think that some people get overwhelmed with their groups as the leader, and that's why they're shutting their Facebook group down. but they're shutting it down because, and they've come out and said it. I mean, they're on their shutdown videos saying, this group didn't give me the results I want. No one's talking to each other. No one is everybody's just advertising themselves, and there's not a cohesive kind of really connected experience happening in this group, and I'm not getting business from it, so I'm shutting it down. And that happens because they built an audience. Whereas groups like Women's Business Garden, and I know I'm partial to it, we're thriving. We're thriving because it's a community. People are talking to each other. People are sharing with each other. People aren't just coming and slapping an ad up for their business, but engaging in real relationships, right? And so people are like, how are you being different? And that's what led to me wanting to talk about this today, right? About the difference between audience building and community building. Okay, hi, Lisa Mappy, hello. What's really important to notice is that a strong community supports itself. Okay, so when you're saying, am I building an audience or am I building a community? Ask yourself, could this support itself? Could I disappear out of Women's Business Garden for 2 or 3 days and it support itself? Absolutely. Absolutely. Would conversations still be flowing? Would people still be interacting? Would people be, remember the definition of community? It's a group of people with a common goal or interest that are coming together to collaborate, to share ideas, to share resources, and to share information. Would that happen if I disappeared for 3 days? Yes. On my Facebook page, would that happen if I disappeared for 3 days? No. Because I've built an audience. That's what Facebook pages are for. It's an audience, right? So you have to ask, if you're wanting to build community, stop and ask yourself, could this community support itself? Could what I'm doing support itself? If the answer is yes, you're building community, right? But ultimately, from a business standpoint, right, getting back into the business stuff, now there are lots of reasons, but the ultimate reason, right? Because you all know what separates a business. Do you guys know what separates a business from a hobby? I say this all the time. What separates a business from a hobby? Type it into the box. See, it's already started freezing your comments for me. So I'm looking at my phone because that's where the comments are happening. I see that Donna said, love that definition. That's the last comment I saw. What separates a business from a hobby? Money. I guess you gotta have money in a hobby. And get even more specific than that, Diana. Profit. Ding, 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 ding. Shapiro, you got it. Woo! Profit. That's technically what separates, right, a business from a hobby. So as business owners, profit is important. So how does community versus audience, how does building a community, you understand the difference now. You understand what building a community is versus building an audience and what that's all about, but why is it important? People are 19% more likely to buy your products and services when they are part of a community that you've created, not an audience. They are 19% more likely, guys. 19% more likely to buy your products, to buy your services when they are part of a community that operates under the definition of what I've said. A group of people with a common goal, agenda, situation, coming together to collaborate and share ideas, information, and resources. So when you create that kind of community, right, this common group of people that are also talking to each other for the purpose of collaborating by sharing information, resources, networks, ideas, when you've created that kind of community, and you've put people in that community and they're part of your community, they're 19% more likely to buy your products and to buy your services. So that's the big business why of why does it matter if I'm building an audience and I'm up on stage and everybody looks at me? If I'm still building a know, like, trust factor with individual people, why do I need to connect them with each other? If I can do that one-on-one, if I can go here and go here and go here, and if I can have a Facebook page and build know, like, trust, Why does it matter? Because it makes it less effort, and it makes it easier, and it makes your profit higher if you've built a true community. All right. Let's see. Shapiro. Okay. So how do we do it? All right. Tell me how you do it. All right. The first thing I want to do though is lay something on you, a little more knowledge on you before I get to the how. Okay. Therefore, who knows about value proposition levels? This is a little markety. Who knows about value proposition levels? I'm going to put my phone up here because the comments have stalled again on the Facebook Live. Yay, Facebook. People might want to type what I'm about to say in the comments so it's there for people to read, right? But value proposition levels. There are 4 value proposition levels when it comes to your business. And before you go building community, it's important that you understand this. Okay? Number 1 is the commodity level. I have a service, I have a product, and I'm telling you about that service and product, right? That's a value. I have a service, I have a product, I'm telling you about it. That's level 1, okay? Level 1. I have a service or a product and I'm telling you about it. The issue at that level as it comes to your followers, your prospective clients and customers, when it's just commodity based, people are price sensitive at that level. Okay, people are price sensitive at that level. They're going to be looking at the bottom line, and they're going to want to be budget conscious. They're going to want to save money. They're going to be thinking about the price from a sensitive point of view. So if you're just, I've got a product and service and here it is, people are price sensitive at that level. Okay? Value proposition level number 2 is I have a product or service and it gets a job done. So now we're not just talking about the product or service, but we've linked it to a result, okay? A result that these people would ultimately want. That's a higher level of price that people are willing to pay, all right? So if I'm like, hey, look at this mug. It says rewrite your script, okay? People are gonna be really price sensitive. How much is that mug? I don't know, $25, man. I don't need it, right? But now if I say, I have this mug, and by reading this phrase every day, you're more likely to work on your business. That's a result. I've now linked this commodity to a result, okay? People will pay a higher price for that now. Oh, $25, $30, yeah, I think I'll buy that, okay? Value proposition level 3 is it engages emotions. It engages emotions. So I can be like, guys, look, this mug, this phrase, rewrite your script, right? Let me tell you, it will help you grow your business, right? For example, I've been struggling for 3 weeks. I've been stalled in my business. I haven't gotten new clients. I'm making this up. I haven't gotten new clients because my new clients are going to be like, hello, Rita, you just signed me. I haven't gotten new clients. I haven't gotten new opportunities. I've been stalled. I've been frustrated. I've been ready to throw in the towel. And then I bought this mug and I read this line every day for a week. And guess what? Guess what? My business, it soared. It soared, guys. And now I'm having more fun than I've ever had before. People are going to be sitting there going, oh my gosh, that engages my emotions. That's me. I'm frustrated. I want something to give me that energy and excitement. I need to buy this mug, right? So now I've moved from commodity to a commodity that gives a result to a commodity that engages emotions about the result, okay? People are willing to pay much more money if it engages emotions, okay? And then the final level of the value proposition levels is social capital. Okay, social capital. At that level, not only are people willing to pay tons more for your product or service, right? Because now you've done all 3. You've got a commodity, it's engaged their emotion about a result, but when you've engaged and clicked in that social capital level, they will advocate for you, they will champion you, they will be influencers for you, They will be brand advocates for you. Do you guys understand it? They will influence their peers for you. They will contribute ideas and suggestions and valuable information to you and your business. If you can get to value level 4, value position level 4, right, which rolls in all 3, but adds in social capital. Where do you guys think social capital comes from? Building community, not building an audience. Okay, Donna, that was me. You're giving me CPR. I feel my breath coming back. Oh, good. And see, I really believe that you're where you need to be the minute you need to be there. So Donna, I'm really, really glad that you're here. So, right, think about it this way. We already talked about the audience analogy, right? But you can climb to success. I'm sure you guys have heard this before. You can climb to success in 1 or 2 ways. You can climb up the ladder and be standing way up high and kick the ladder down and have everybody below you looking at you really high up on the ladder, right? Or you can climb the ladder and lean down and lift other people up to join you on the ladder, right? To join you up on the level that you're at. That's the same idea as audience versus community with the theater idea, right? I'm on the stage, people are watching me, the lights are dark, everybody's listening to me, maybe a person or two, they're whispering to each other, but for the most part, all eyes are on me. I'm up on the stage and you're getting, right, value, and you're maybe even having your emotions engaged by watching my show, right? So maybe I've gotten you to a higher value proposition level, but I haven't engaged the social capital level, because I have not created community. So by flicking on the lights and leaning down in the audience and pulling all of you up on stage with me, and now we're all up on stage, right? All of us. But remember, for that to be true as a true community, we can't just be random scattered people. We have to be people who have a common agenda, a common goal, a common situation. And now we're up on stage collaborating and sharing ideas and resources and information. So we each get our moments. We each get our moments to contribute and to ask for what we want, right? We each get our moments for that. That's community. That engages that social capital level, which then gets you what? It gets you more money, right? Because we know when we create community and we've engaged that social capital level, people are willing to spend 19% more of the time and 19% more of the money on your products and your resources, right? But you're not coming at building a community from the place of making more money. It cannot be your motivation. Otherwise, your community is just an audience and it will not sustain, okay? You have to come at building a community from the mindset of what will it do for all of these other people when I create this community? Not what will it do for me. That 19% number, that's a byproduct. That's just something that happens when you build community correctly, but it cannot be the reason why you're coming at building community. Otherwise, you will do what all of these leaders have done that are folding and weren't able to sustain it. You will have built an audience and not a community. Okay, you will have built an audience, not a community. So then how do you make sure you don't do that? Okay, this is kind of the final piece. How do you make sure that you are really coming at it with the mindset of building a community, right? So this is where I need people to type this in the box as well. Number 1, well, so there are 3 C's. They're the 3 C's to make sure that you're building a community. So that's easy, right? Community begins with a C, and then there are 3 C's under community. Okay, the first C is the cause. What is the cause of your community? That common thing, remember that common situation, but mainly more than a common situation, it's a common agenda, a common goal. Okay, so what's the cause? So if you're trying to create a community, start by saying, what's the cause? That's the first C. There has to be a cause that is not you. Okay, the cause is not so I can get attention, so I can make money, so I can sell my products, so I can sell my services. That's not a common goal with everybody there. That's your goal, right? What's the common goal between the people, right? Number 1, what's your cause? Number 2, content. the content in your community, whether it's posts that are written, whether it's Facebook Lives, whether it's a webinar, however you're a tweet, however you're distributing, right, content to this community. So now we've built the community, right? Now they have the common cause. The content must be designed to connect them to each other. You must design content. The majority of your content must connect the members to each other. That's the second C. The second C is content that connects. Content that connects, not connects with you. Again, it's not about you when you are building a community. It is about who? It is about the community. Okay, it's about the community. So your content must be to connect them. So when you guys see me say something like, share a choice that you really want to make, right? Like maybe I did a post the other day, like, money can't dictate your choices. If money's dictating your choices, you're in an abusive relationship. We talked about that in video too, right? So get healthy. How are you going to get healthy? Share one choice you're going to make right now, no matter what. What's your choice? And everybody started sharing. That allowed you all to talk to each other, to start sharing resources, support, ideas, motivation to help each other with those choices, right? That was content to connect, content to allow you all to connect. Oh, thank you, Nicole. Hi, Nicole. So, right, that's the second C of building a community. So number one, what's the cause? What is the common cause that's about the community, not about you? Right. Number two, what is the content that you're putting out there? Is it written in a way to engage the community with each other? That's the second. And the third is communication. And when I say communication, I don't mean you communicating to your audience. Do you allow the other audience members to participate, to communicate? Do they get their moment? Remember, an audience is sitting down in the theater watching me on stage, and it's great. And they could be getting, we talked about 4 levels of value. They could be getting the commodity, right? And then they're moving into they have a result, and I've engaged their emotion, right? So the know, like, trust is high, their emotions are engaged, and they're willing to invest in me, right? But if I'm not pulling them up on stage so that we can all share information and resources, meaning they're going to be sharing information and resources that it doesn't include me. I'm over here, and then 2 people are over here sharing information and sharing resources. And then somebody else gets in the center of the circle and says, guys, I have a thing to tell you that you're all going to be so excited about. And then I have a question and I need some help. Like, am I allowing for that to happen within my community? That's the third piece. Communication. Does it allow participation? Does your communication allow participation so that these wonderful community members can connect to each other, right? Donna, I missed that, but I'm adding this to build this group into a community. I love it. Oh my God, I love it, guys. So you see, when people have been saying, I'm a community builder, I don't mean me, like they're saying this about themselves. I'm a community builder, right? And I look at the community, I'll put that in quotes. I look at the community that they're building. They haven't built a community, they've built an audience. They've built an audience where they are up on stage. And again, that does not mean it's not valuable, right? I want to say that having an audience is valuable, right? But they're up on stage, and they have their audience, and they're engaging emotion, and it's a high level value, and there's a lot of know, like, and trust. But that's not ultimately sustainable if your goals were based on community. What happens is when you're the star of the show, eventually, if it goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on, people get tired of the show, especially if it's not a new show, right? If it's a repeat of the same show every day, your audience is going to get tired, and that's when they're going to start leaving, or they're going to start climbing up on stage because they just want something different. right? They want to be the star. They want their moment. They want to know who they've been sitting in the audience with for so long. Who are these other people that are like me? They're going to start whispering, and then the whispers are going to turn into talks, and then the talking is going to be really loud, and then the talking is going to interrupt your show. It's going to interrupt your show. And when it interrupts the show, guess what? You get frustrated because you wanted to be the star of the show. So you say you're building community, but really you're building an audience so that you can be the star of the show, right? And when suddenly the audience kind of starts getting tired of you being the star of the show and they want to know who else they're with, and they start talking to each other, they get so loud, they overpower you, and you get frustrated, and then you shut it down. That's what's happening with a lot of the group leaders. I'm shutting down this group. You guys are just talking about yourselves, right? No, but and maybe you're talking at each other, but not to each other. But that's usually because that group leader didn't do anything for that final C. They did not create the avenues for communication that allowed the members to participate in a meaningful way. They thought they were building community. They were just building an audience. That's all. So then they get really frustrated and they shut down the group, right? And that is, or they stop whatever, wherever their community platform is, a meetup group or something, they just stop it, right? Because they're no longer the star of the show, right? And they were looking at community as an audience, and that cannot be what community is. Community is not an audience, okay? So remember that community is up on the stage with you. Community is a group of people that share a common goal or agenda, and they're collaborating. They're collaborating with each other, right? They're collaborating with each other and sharing information and resources and introductions and all kinds of things that have nothing to do with you, and that might not even include you. A community must be self-sustaining. You must be able to back away and disappear for a day or two, and that community can still happen. It's not about you. You might facilitate it, you might bring value to the community, but for it to be a true community, it has to be able to operate without you. All right? We now know that when people are part of a community, right, they're at value a true community, the way we've talked about it, they're at value proposition level 4, where they become brand advocates. They influence their peers. They champion for you. The loyalty level is through the roof for you, right? Because you've created that community and put them in it, in that thriving, healthy, correct community, not an audience, right? Now they become social capital. And when they're at that level, they're 19% more likely to buy your products and services. That's a byproduct, not the reason, right? You can't come at it from reaching that 19%. Otherwise, you're just building an audience, right? And so you have to remember, when you're creating a community, you need the cause and you need the content, right? You need a common cause. You need content that connects, but not connects them to you, connects them to each other. And you have to provide avenues that allow them to participate, that allow them to participate in meaningful ways, that allow them to share their information, to connect with each other, that allow them to contribute ideas to your community, that allow them to shape your community, because it's their community too, right? So you have to provide that participation avenue, right? And that's why I said, a lot of the mistakes that leaders are making right now is they're more worried about the stats of their group and the stats of their community and the number of followers that they have and who's listening to them, who's liking their posts, who's engaging on their posts, who's commenting on their posts. They're more worried about them than they are the members of their community. And your community has to be the most important, the members of your community, and they're making themselves more important in all kinds of ways. They're making themselves up at the top with the ladder kicked down behind them. They're on the stage with the audience watching them, and the minute that they're not the most important, they get frustrated. That's not community, guys. For community, it can't be about you. You have to make it about them. You've got to be more concerned, and I said not to the detriment of your values, not to the detriment of your boundaries, not to the detriment of your time and your resources and your energy, but your community, the community you're creating is bigger than you. It's self-sustaining without you, okay? It's not about you, right? And so you have to make sure that you're providing, that you have that cause and you have that content and the avenues for communication to provide for that and to allow for that, right? So let me look. This is very helpful. I'm not the star, right? So the question then, right, when it comes to business, the mistakes, the first big mistake is that business owners are building audiences, thinking they're building community. So that's number one. They think they're building community, and then they get frustrated and everything shuts down. And it's because they were really building an audience and they were using those words interchangeably. I have a community, I have an audience, I have a, you know, that's not the same. All right. Community, we've hammered that home today, right? Community, we've hammered that home. But the difference is, right? The second is, right, they were really trying to build an audience and they never wanted a community. They just wanted an audience, right? And while I say that can make you successful, that ultimately stalls you. And you don't understand why you're not having loyalty. You don't have brand advocacy. You don't have people championing your customers and clients aren't out there championing you, championing you, blah, 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 blah. And you don't have people out there, right, like advocating for you, your customers, your clients, or even other people just in general without being your customers and clients. And it's because you stopped at the audience level, right? So mistake number one, you think you're building a community, you're just building an audience. Mistake number two, you only want to build an audience. That can be successful to a point, and then it stalls you. Okay, it stalls you. It stops the growth because you miss out on the loyalty and the retention and the advocacy and the word of mouth referrals and the marketing that can happen on a big, meaningful level, right? And mistake number three is they're not building an audience or community at all. And that's something for another day, right? That's something for another day. So you have to ask yourself, how can I create this community? Maybe it's a Facebook group, maybe it's a meetup group, maybe it's a forum on your website, maybe it's a, I don't know, we can brainstorm that a million ways to one, which if this is resonating with you guys, so I think I've told you this before, right? I only have 3 spots right now for clients, for new clients between now and the end of the year, right? I only have 3 spots. I've changed my business model so I can create more community in a different way with all of my private clients and with my groups, and I needed more bandwidth to be able to do that. So I've changed my model and I have 3 spots. I talked to someone today who's most likely going to sign on to be one of my clients. So it looks like I've got 2 spots left between now and I have a call right after this. And hopefully they're going to sign on to be one of my clients, right? Which means I might only have 1, right? And I'm not saying that it's like an urgent. But guys, these are topics. The reason I talked about this topic all week long, this relationship building. So the relationship with yourself, and the relationship with time and money, and now this relationship with your people, right? Potential clients, potential customers, current clients, current customers, right? All of it. The reason I've talked about it, or these are the 3 big foundational pieces to having a successful and sustainable and thriving and growing business. And I've heard way too many people say they're tired of being stalled, they're tired of not growing, they're tired of not getting the results they want. And so I say, why wait? Talk to me. If this is you, if you want a community and you don't know how to do it, if you think you've been building an audience and you want to break through to turning that into a community, if you haven't been building an audience or a community at all, if you thought you were building community and now hearing this, you're like, oh my gosh, I've only built an audience and I want, tell me, message me, say, I want a strategy session with you, Rita. I think I want to work on this. We will get you on the phone. Okay, and we will talk about it and we will see if it's a good fit to coach together so you can roll into 2018 with a community and not an audience, because now you've seen how powerful that can be for your business. And as a business owner, when you see something that can be powerful for your business, why would you ignore it? Why would you not do it, right? There's a quote by Brendan Bouchard. And he's like, maybe it's not that the universe isn't giving you what you need. Maybe it's that you're so distracted or you're sending such unclear messages, it doesn't understand what you need. So you can say, I want a big, thriving, growing business, right? You could be saying that. And then someone says, and here's how you do it. And you ignore that. You don't implement it. You don't take action on it. You don't do it. The universe is like, well, maybe you don't really want a big, growing, thriving business. So maybe I shouldn't send you those things. I'm unclear. You say one thing, you do another. Don't let this be the year you say one thing and do another. Do it. Do it. That's what I'm here for, right? And I want you guys to talk to me. So if that's you, message me, email me, right? Let's see your comments. Reminds me of what I'm doing with students in the classroom. Yeah, right? I'm having a hard time connecting these ideas to my business, family mediation, right? Well, this is where you have to know your ideal clients. Who is your ideal client? Who's the person who normally hires you? The woman, the man? Who is it that really initiates that, right? Really knowing your target market, really knowing who they are, what their pain points, what their frustrations are. If they are parents of school age, if they're moms of school age children that are most likely to come in, right, and they're struggling in their relationship, and maybe you start a group that is for people about their relationship, right? Maybe you have a group, and maybe you have meetings and meetups, whether it's online or offline, that bring in different experts that can talk about different things, right? How to have better communication, how in your relationship, how to, maybe you have a therapist come in and lead a workshop, or maybe you have a confidence coach come in and lead a workshop, or maybe you have all of these people that can help this community with a common goal come together, engage, and meet other people like them that are in similar circumstances, so they know I'm not alone. There are other people struggling in their relationships, right? There are other people that need to go to mediation, right? There are other people, but at this point, they're not necessarily your clients or customers, right? They're just people that are in a common situation in life that these people might ultimately need your services, right? But the goal of bringing them together isn't and to get them to hire me. It's to get them to connect with each other and realize they're not alone, and they can reach out to each other and share resources and support, right? And by creating that space and that opportunity for them to do that, right, you have now increased your authority and your social capital, right, with these people. I built a 1,000 plus audience on my personal Facebook page. Yep, and then a group fell into your lap. Your heart's for the community. Okay, yeah. So you have to really you can transition audience members into community members, right? So again, if this is all something that you want to work on and something that you want to do, please reach out to me. I mean, this is, if you guys can't tell, this is my #1 most passionate topic ever, ever, ever. I love talking about money and time. I love talking about relationship with self. I love talking about target markets, ideal clients, niche. I love talking about sales. I help people with sales. I love talking to people about, you know, content and writing and all of that. But this, guys, this is it. This is the thing that has made me successful throughout every stage of my life. Why was I able to grow a successful date coaching practice? I had a community. Why am I successful now as a business coach? I have a community. All these opportunities that people are like, Rita, you have to help me. You have to help me get these speaking engagements. You have to help me. It all stems from community. And the mistake most of my clients have made, which is fixable, is that they've started building an audience, or they weren't really building much of anything at all. And that's all able to be fixed so that you can have the community, right, and the engagement that creates this for you, so that you have social capital. And when you have social capital, you have people out there doing things for you, right? So in your pre-work, I asked you guys, right, what are ways that you can do to make your current clients and customers feel important? But now I want you to add from a community angle to, if they're all in the same community, how can you make them feel important? One way might be giving them what they need so they can share what they need, giving them the spotlight, giving them the stage, right? But I want you guys to spend some time on that for the homework or the practices. You guys know I hate homework, right? And I also asked you guys to write down how you can give value to your non-clients and customers, right? So these are prospective clients and customers. These are people that are becoming aware of you. We've talked about the sales cycle before. They become aware of you, and now they have to consider you. And during that consideration phase, they're building up know, like, and trust. That's where the 4 value proposition levels come in, right? Commodity, result, emotion, and ultimately social capital. You want to, during that consideration phase, get them to the social capital phase, right? That final 4th proposition level. How can you do that? How can you make prospective clients and customers in a community, how can you make them feel important, as well as current clients and customers? What are the results that you give? They should tie in to the cause of the community. That was also some practice, right? So that's what I want you guys to work on during our time together. All right, like over the week, I'm going to come back in and check in on Monday to kind of wrap this up and just say, how did it go? Or maybe I'll wrap it up in an email or something. But I want you guys to do this, right? So what questions do you have, guys? It is, I don't even know because I'm blocking my clock, right? Okay, it's about 1. It's about time to wrap it up. Gosh, I was really passionate about this today, right? The time went, woo! So if you guys have any questions on this, please write them down, comment. I will come back. I will look at it. If this is something that you're real, if you are, I mean, in anything we've talked about, the relationship with yourself, relationship with time and money, the relationship of community, building your business. If you're tired of being stalled, if you're tired of saying that this is the year your business is going to grow, if you just want to take action and do it, and you're ready to invest in the support and have a coach that's ready to show up 100% for you, but that means I'm going to ask that you show up 100%. So you have to really say, am I ready to show up 100%? Am I ready to invest? It's an investment. I'm not lying. It's an investment to work with me. And I have 3 spots, only 3 spots, maybe less at this point. True, right? I've always hated coaches that say that. I've had 3 spots, but now I only have 1. But like, now I'm saying it because it's actually true, right? Like, it's a true thing. That's why these words, so now I get it. It's a true thing. And I want to help people. And I want to help them in a deep way. And that's why I did this training, because relationship building is the key to it all. Relationship with yourself, relationship with time and money, and relationship with a community of people under the definition that we gave. Okay, so I hope you guys found this helpful. I hope when you get the email, the replay email, right, that you're going to go back and you're going to do like the post work that you got, that you're going to sit through, watch, think about it, work through that pre-work as post work, right? Go through all the lessons, make sure that all that pre-work you've done, and then share it. Keep commenting in these videos. Let me know, right, what you're doing, what you're thinking, what aha moments were, right? Okay, so I see that, okay, so Diane says, very informative, thank you, and very thought-provoking, thank you. And I think I want to make this into something I talk about more. I haven't talked about this enough. Yeah, the community building model. Well, again, could you have a successful business, Rachel, without a community? Yeah. Right? Are people willing to pay more once you've engaged their emotions, right? You've gotten a commodity that shows results and it's engaged their emotions without ever having community? Yes. But if you want to make it easier, right? If you want to make it easier, then you need brand advocates, you need champions, you need people out there influencing their peers to come to you, to use you, right? I mean, I have a client who's a virtual assistant, and she has a thriving community. She has a thriving community of business owners that are in her Facebook group, right? And she provides everything we've talked about, the cause, the content, the communication, the ability for them to participate, right? They're sharing, all of these members are sharing information, resources about things that are bigger than her, right? Remember, it's not about her virtual assistant business. She has created, though, a community for her ideal clients. They all have a common goal in their business and their life, and they're all collaborating and sharing information and resources with each other. And because of that, because she created the space, that builds up her know, like, trust factor, that builds up her authority, and people credit that back to her. And they appreciate her for that, right? So it definitely helped her skyrocket. It helped her break through the level where she had stalled at, to make it easier, to make her value higher. You know, the perceived value, that's what a value proposition level is, your perceived value. So it made her perceived value higher. And the social capital meant it wasn't just her going out and getting clients and customers. They were all, we talk about, they start rolling in, they start reaching out to you, they start saying, I want to work with you because I heard about you from so-and-so. That really comes in a big way from the community space. Does it have to be a Facebook group? No. Does it have to be a meetup group? No. Some site companies like Nike, they have discussion forums on their pages now that allow their customers and consumers to connect and talk with each other. And they monitor these, and they kind of interact, but it's really about them, the discussion members, and they see all of these people connecting over a common cause, right? So hopefully that answers your question. Oh, thank you, Rebecca. She says, I appreciate your time, your enthusiasm, and your joy. Thank you, guys. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for being here with me today and this week. And I will be back, as always, to wrap it up. And you know me, I'm not going anywhere. I'm only going to step up my visibility. So take care. Have a great day. And again, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. That's not a sales tactic. I really do have a call after. I had a call before. That might put me down to one spot. And I really want to help people. I really do. It's an exciting topic for me. This is my favorite topic. So if that's you, email me and let me know. Otherwise, if you have questions, put them in the comments. I'll check back later today. If you're watching on replay, please communicate. I will watch and respond to your comments as well. Okay? Take care, everyone. Bye.